Hey there, Business for Unicorns podcast listeners. This is Mark, and I'm here to tell you about an awesome free resource on businessforunicorns.com. If you ever find yourself feeling frustrated with your training gym because you know that there are all sorts of things you could work on, but you're not really sure how to prioritize, you don't know what's the most important thing to work on or what order you should be tackling your priorities, well, now is the time to go to businessforunicorns.com, click the button, and fill out our free self-assessment. With the Ultimate Training Gym Owner Report Card, you will gain immediate clarity on just where to be focusing your attention to create more positive impact on your community, to drive more revenue and take home income, and to do it all with less stress and more peace of mind. So go to businessofunicorns.com, click the button, fill out that free self-assessment, and start building a business and life you love today.
Hello, fitness business nerds. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Business for Unicorns podcast. And today I'm here with a repeat offender on the podcast, Luka Hocevar, who needs really no introduction. You all know him well from Vigor Strength, Vigor Ground in Seattle, and a man who does many other things than that. As we were just talking about before recording this podcast, he's a man who's got his fingers in a lot of cookie jars. But welcome back to the podcast, Luka. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure on being back every time. But if you call me repeat offender, I'm going to keep coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, frankly, there's very few people I've had on this podcast, and this is with all due respect to all of my guests. But there's very few that people say, have them back again. Like, I actually get requests, and you're one of the people I get requests from. There's like, we want more Luka, more Luka. Same thing with our Unicorn Society group. I just emailed you this last week. They're like, we're going to be in Portland for our upcoming retreat, and they were like, invite Luka. Everyone wants more Luka.
And trust me, like I'm going to definitely try to make that one. Because we have brunch spots to visit, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Yeah. Fun fact, I've never been to Portland.
Really?
I have no idea why. I have no idea. I mean, all the traveling I've done, I've just never made it to Portland. I'm so excited. I'm actually coming with my husband. We're going to stay a little bit longer than the retreat.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Portland is weird. It's like in the best of ways.
Yeah. I love a weird little quirky, walkable city. Like, that's my jam.
Yes. Yeah, you're gonna love it.
All right. Well, let's talk about you, my friend. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, and whenever I bring you on the podcast, I just kind of want to open the doors and let you talk about whatever you are thinking about in the moment. So let's start with this. All the things that are working for you in your gym, and all the things you're seeing working with other gym owners that you work with. What's working right now for people? What are the things that our listeners can take away that you think are really having a great impact on business at the moment?
So. This is going to be multifactorial kind of, but one thing that we noticed right off the bat is as things were opening up, every state is certainly a little bit different, and even having conversations with you guys, how things are in New York. And Washington was one of the most, restricted states, but what we saw was that just our organic, like we didn't turn ads, we're just about to turn ads on and to do stuff, but I was holding back because we were getting so many and still are getting so many organic leads that it would, we couldn't basically handle the back end essentially, because our main front end offer is a 30-day paid trial. So,
got it.
Which has worked for us, I love it. We've just kind of kept improving it. But what that means is then when a person comes in, they also have to get semi-private coaching, right? And we were at a point where I was like, we're getting 2 to 3 leads a day organically. A lot of days. We're talking about, 30 to 50 per month through our website, or even through Google Business page, which actually I want to touch on that. That's a hidden kind of gem.
Yeah.
Very, very hidden gem for most people. But what that told me was a couple of things. That there is a lot of benefit in making sure that you improve your website, just like kind of like the 101 of stuff. And when we switched our website, for when we initially built it, it was good. Times change, things change, and you got to improve it. But just through that, our uptick was 3 to 4x on just lead generation. Now, think about this as a business owner, right? Like, I'm sleeping. I'm not doing any, like, I did the work one time, and then that site produces. better results over and over and over again, 365 days of the year, right? So it's very worthwhile. It's a very high ROI, right? And there's 100 things that we could go over, as far as, what to do on a website. But basic things like, above the fold, when you land on a page, it's very clear what you do, who this is for. I'm a big fan of Donald Miller and
Story brand, yeah.
the Story brand and all their marketing.
Yep.
And I've went through all their courses and all their deeper stuff. And
For sure.
and that was super, super clear. We got a brand video done, which is a bit of an investment. But video is powerful. I have 2 Google reviews. I kid you not, in the last month. They mentioned that video made them pick up the phone and call us in the Google review.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about like, oh, you spent $3,000, $4,000, whatever it may be for a brand video,
Yeah.
like this specific client is doing 3 times a week semi-private with us, which is like $7,000-8,000 per year. Right. This is one. Right. We just have 2
Yep.
reviews, so that there's a ton more people, and we ask, and they go like, oh, I saw this video and I had to hit you guys up, and so it's how can you do things in your business that, yes, you put an effort in, one time that is focused, but then it really pays off over and over and over again, right? So the website is one of those, because here's the other thing, right? Now that there's a lot more people coming back, and it's the most unhealthy this country's been. People, mental health is at the lowest. We have probably about 2 out of 3 people that mention that mention mental health. And when they're searching, not only are you the person that's popping up, you're also, like I said, your site is better, right? And look, I'm the first to say the 3 C's that I think are foundational for any business is, coaching, customer experience, and culture, right? You got to have those locked in. But if you don't have good marketing and good communication, then those won't even be exposed. Right.
Yeah.
So that's one. Now, the
Yeah.
second part.
Can I pause there for a second? I just want to recap for listeners, which is, I think, people these days using social media so much, forget about their website, and don't reinvest and keep it up to date. But I think your point here is so important. I want to just underline it for our listeners and viewers, which is you just have to be great at the basics on the website. Right? Have a website that above the fold says what you do, who you serve, how you serve them, a simple call to action, right? Maybe a great sizzle reel or brand video to really drive home who you are, what your culture is, how you take care of clients, how you serve them, right? If you have a few basics, and again, StoryBrand, I think you're so right, is a fantastic, model to go read about. That's all you need, because then then the website becomes just another gateway to your world, right? It becomes another gateway for people to learn about you and make that first step.
And I'm like, here's the cheat sheet. Just go to look at the Vigorground, vigorgroundfitness.com.
Go copy it. Yeah.
I legit took, and I'm fortunate also to have some, very close friends that are world-class copywriters. I'm very, very, I would say, I could say I'm very good at copy myself because I've been doing it for, 15 years now. And, we went through the whole thing, and I kind of merged, story brand with really good copy and bullet point. You can go on there and go like, all right, I'm going to just mirror the hell out of this.
Yep.
Please do. Like if it helps you get more clients, like I'm very happy with it. And trust me, I spent countless hours and money to get that up. So you'll get a savings.
We tell people all the time to go copy MFF's website. Go to markfisherfitness.com. We think it's pretty good. And I do see a lot of copies out there, and I think that's great. Go for it.
Yeah, like get good at learning and mirroring, like finding out, who does the work and why would you make all the mistakes when you can kind of cut through some of the mistakes, seeing that, so that's one thing. And it kind of leads me to a second thing that I again, high ROI, don't see people do it. Google reviews. I've been really, really, really digging into some of the Google stuff. And you'd be surprised, like just the metrics and statistics of when somebody comes onto Google and looks at, personal training gyms, group training gyms, and just the visual of how many Google reviews you have is there was a statistic that said if a company had 100 Google reviews, it would be like a 5-to-1 chance that they'll just click on that and not even look at anything else, right?
Yep.
And in Google for a while there, we had a lot of reviews, and then they changed some algorithm, and everybody lost a ton. And we're back to about 70 now, and like pushing to get over 100. But we have a system I might have to follow up with you on. I actually got a little software that gets added to the site. So when you come to the Vigor page, again,
sure.
go study the Vigor page.
Yep.
In the bottom left-hand corner, you see the 5-star reviews and 4-star reviews. Oh, there's no 4-star reviews, only 5. But popping
Yeah,
up.
humble brag.
Yeah, but it basically, what the software does though, it would only show your 4 and 5, and in the bottom corner, and they're like popping up, and it's like nice. It's not like kitsch, you know. So, and it says, do you want to see more reviews? You just click, and it opens up more, and then it says, do you want to write a review? So it's been helping us get reviews.
Great.
It also you can quickly send an email and customize, like basically, so one click, like you can send an email or a text to get a review. So for new people, which I highly encourage, create a system for generating reviews.
Yeah.
When you have what I ended up doing was just like I sat down, and my clients, I was just like, hey, I noticed that you didn't give a review. I'd really appreciate if you gave an honest review, and people started doing it. But it's really, really, really powerful. And here's what you can do too. Reviews are great to use as social proof.
Yep.
Right. So now if you're doing your, 6-phase social story selling system that, Craig Ballantyne teaches that I really love, you can snap those Google reviews. You can snap those Google reviews and put them onto landing pages if you build out landing pages for specific programs, right? It goes on and on and on. But again, this is a high ROI because when you sleep, somebody's reading your stuff and they're joining because they're seeing reviews.
Yep.
So that's another one that's kind of like, again, it's basic that people forget it. But if reviews could get you an extra 2 leads a month, that's 24 a year. If you sign up half of them, you just made $30,000-$40,000, right? Like,
yeah, it's huge. And I'll just say this, that I'm a new homeowner in the last year and a half, and every single vendor I've looked for, I've read the reviews for. Every painter and contractor and gardener and things I've been trying to get to know in my neighborhood, I absolutely do what you just described, which is I Google, gardener, my town, right? Yeah. The first thing I click on in Google is the reviews. And, most of the people I haven't chose, it's because they either didn't have any or they were crap. And so I just, I 100%, just want to illustrate to our listeners, like, that's real life. I bet you all listening to this, that's how you find people. And so you got to ask for them, to Luka's point. You got to make it easy for people to give it to you. You got to remind them on a regular basis. You got to integrate that into your processes for onboarding new clients, and especially long-term clients. You want to go to them first and ask for them. So yeah, I think that's gold, Luka, because people really forget that that's as important as it is.
And the psychology of it, right? So think about this. I mean, restaurants. We were just talking about restaurants. I'm a big foodie, so
yep.
I'll look at a restaurant. Would you pick a restaurant that has 10 5-star reviews? Or would you pick a restaurant that has 1,872, but it's like 4.4? I can tell you the data for that. Like, everybody goes to the restaurant that has 4.4 because there's 1,400 5-star reviews. And if you have a lot of reviews, there's going to be some ones that aren't good, and like you shouldn't shoot for 5.0, right? If you have 4.84%, who cares, right?
Yep.
It's actually benefits you. But that's the thing. Trust me, if you get your business to have 200 reviews while the next closest one has like 60, this is psychologically, remember, people, it's social proof. Okay, Google reviews are social proof. So people will be drawn to that, and it tells them like, oh, wow, these guys are doing a really good job. They've been around for a while. Like, let me go there. And I don't have the data in front of me.
Yeah, but people follow the herd, right? I mean, when they see, look at all these people can't be wrong.
Exactly.
They'll follow.
And I'm gonna remind me, because I want to get to this on the social media part for the content, because there's a powerful point in the whole social proof through social media and through content that I think is very powerful. But I did want to mention, so in the last 6 months, the thing that I've realized and dug in, I can't remember who the guy is that does all the, I always buy courses and hire people and to get on the phone and pay them, so I learn this stuff quick. But it's Google Business Profile is 3 to 4 times more effective than actual SEO. Okay. Meaning, so we talked about the website, which you should, because our leads come through the website. But people actually look at Google Business Profile before that.
Yep.
So you, as a business, you should have set that up. If you haven't, this will be a powerful thing. But if you write in your gym, like if you write in Vigor Ground Fitness, on the top right-hand corner, you'll see it's like a little business profile that pops up that shows your hours of operation, pictures, reviews, the call button. So usually, maybe you didn't know what this was, but when you look at something or a business through Google, when it says call directions, that's Google Business Profile. Okay, it has metrics, really, really good metrics. So I can check how many people have checked out the business profile, how many people messaged me, because people can message you through business profile. They can book an appointment through business profile, clicks to website, how many people asked for directions, how many people called you, right? Because I'll pull it up and I call the restaurant directly through Google, right? It tracks all of that. And so you'll be able to see month to month how this is going. Now, what you can do on Google Business Profile, number one, I say organize it, make it crisp and clean, add pictures of the gym, add pictures of like quality pictures of the culture, so coaching people, groups, all of those things, because Google also rewards you as you're updating the business profile.
I think it's really crucial, because if you can keep adding stuff over time, it'll keep prioritizing. Yep.
It allows you to create posts. So what we coach on is say like, hey, if you're going to do a Facebook post, that's a kind of mini blog, or if you're going to write an email, put that same thing on a Google Business Profile. And it'll tell you every week, like, hey, 250 people viewed this post, right? And at the bottom of that post, you can go like, hey, if you'd like to try us out, click here, trial, right? I mean, you're basically putting content on the business profile, and Google's rewarding you for it and showing it more. You can put offers on there, right? You can go like, hey, Valentine's Day 2 for 1, or whatever the hell you want, right? Something that so I constantly put up our results in advance program, which is our 30-day paid trial, right? So as you keep updating that, it will, first of all, again, Google loves experiential stuff. They want, if you make things easier and a better experience for the person searching, they will reward you for it, right? So we have seen an uptick on Google Business Profile like 3 to 4x by me just putting up new photos, putting up posts. Our messages have gone up. And what's crazy is that people will go to Google Business Profile and then go to the website. So as we watch our traffic on the website, that's dramatically increased. And you'll see it, right? You'll see, hey, last month, 220 clicks to the website from Google Business Profile. This month, 380. Like, holy crap, we have 160 more clicks on that, right? That's dramatic.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge.
And again, this is while you sleep, right? So it's like I do the work. And sure, like you should have a system of updating, and I just have it in my schedule, pops up, takes me, it's copy and paste, right? The post, I've already written it for something else. I'm just copy and pasting it. It's not like completely new work. And again, competitive advantage, and it compounds because as you do it, right? The reviews, the Google profile, the posts, now Google gives you more and more and more ranking. And again, now instead of getting, 3 leads last month, now you get 6. Right. And then 6 months later, now you get 9. And this is kind of how you go like, holy crap, did we like triple our basically leads and triple our conversions? And you didn't run any ads. Not to say ads are bad, but again, why not do something that you can put into place and it just works for you? I mean, it's basically, compound interest if we were getting some good compound interest from stocks or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Luka, I'm so glad that you brought up the Google Business Profile, because it's something that we don't talk about enough. And it's such a hugely valuable tool. I think that people don't get what you just mentioned, which is Google's whole model is to make a great search experience. And what that means is that they need to know what is relevant in your community or your area or your search interests. And we can help them by showing that our business profiles are actually engaged in our local community. There's actually proactively more videos getting added, more reviews happening. When we do that, we're telling Google, like, hey, this is an active business that if you send people to, they will have a great experience. And it doesn't cost us much aside from our time. Right? And so why not? It's like having a whole second kind of mini website that Google is sending traffic to you for you that doesn't
That's
cost
exactly
you
what it
anything.
is.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's exactly what it is, and it's like one of those things. The cheat code that somebody goes like, "Hey, listen, do these two things, and we're gonna
Yeah,
bump you in front of the line," right? Like,
totally.
and you just do them, right? And again, all of this stuff comes back to, I feel like, just having a schedule for things, right? And if you have somebody in charge of that, great. If it's just you doing it solo, it really doesn't take a lot of time. It's like, hey, on Monday, at this time, boom, this is what I do. And I block it out and I knock it out. So I think that's really, really important. And I feel like, because we're talking about more like digital stuff, I want to wrap this next thing into the digital stuff. And so I've been a huge fan of content. And look, at the end of the day, like the four phases I think that kind of exist, right? Is like, number one, you got to engage people, right? You pull them in with curiosity, and then you have to, it's nurture and develop, like educate and nurture, right? So those two go together, right? And that's kind of like that infotainment part where people get to know you, and then from there it's commitment, right? Commitment is just signing up for something. It could be, like I said, if you're online, it could be online, or if you have both brick and mortar and online, either or. And I find that, the local brick and mortar businesses or coaches sometimes don't do enough of content to engage, right? And again, this shouldn't necessarily be like your number one priority, okay? Because that is a mistake too. And the reason I say that, and I know, Phil, I'm going to veer off, but I promise I won't. Okay,
It's okay.
We have, if a lot of times we'll ask coaches that haven't got a gym yet and go like, what's your goal, like financially, to hit a number where you feel more comfortable, and then you can kind of reinvest back into the business and maybe get a video person part time, or just spend more money on development, for instance, right? And that number will usually be something like 15 clients, 12, 15, no more than 20. Because if you're making, $400 a month from a client, like 12 clients is $5,000 a month, right? And they're already making. So I'm like, okay, well, strip everything else away. Like, there should be nothing else that you do other than like get 12 clients.
Just get 12 clients.
And the thing is, in getting those 12 clients is usually not like, make sure you put 7 posts up a day, make sure you, in like, so, because you see a lot of that, right, where the focus is just all over the place. And I'm like, man, like, this is where you ask for referrals. This is where you do hand raiser campaigns. This is where you send out an email for a beta program, right? This is where, what are all these, kind of, I don't even want to call them guerrilla, just that brick and mortar face-to-face marketing that can get you there quickly, right?
Yeah. Well, I think ultimately what I'm hearing you say, and I'd say if this is tracking, is that oftentimes people are planting seeds or reaching so far out in their networks, when really what they should do is focus more close on the networks, just friends of friends, friends of family, friends of past clients, people next door, their neighbors, right? When they can focus in like that and just get 12 of those people that are within an arm's reach to engage with them, like
100%.
That's the strategy I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, and it's like, even just, we teach like 9 different referral strategies, right? And but most people don't do them. So if you have just 15 clients, right, and half of them brought a person in to try you out, like for the next month, you'd have 7 to 8 new people. If you did a great job, you'd sign up 6 of them, right? And here's half of the clients that you need right away off of 1 or 2 referral strategies, okay? This is what I'm saying, and it's like, it's right there, okay? Here's another one that I think is powerful, and we do, and it's very, to me, it's completely ethical, because sometimes people are like, oh man, that's not ethical. Really? Like, if I got a person that's training once a week, okay, or even twice, and they have a goal, and they're struggling with that goal, okay, or maybe they made progress, but not the progress that they want. We do this often, and like, trust me, if you guys listening to this have a gym or you have a coaching business, please do this, and then prove me wrong. If you prove me wrong, like, I swear I'll give you $100 bill to each one of you. But go to clients and go like, hey, look, I love the progress you made here and here. Now, I know when we started, you said that you wanted to achieve, fill in the blank, right?
Yep.
Summer's coming up. Like, let's, for the next 3 months, I think it would be great. I want to invite you to take on an extra session or two with me, and like let's push and make it a little bit more of a catalyst for change, and then we'll get to that result, and then we'll just drop down and maintain it, right? You would be blown away by the amount of people that say, okay, great, yeah, let's do that.
Of course.
You may legitimately have like half of your clients or more do that. Now, just let's look numbers wise. If we have somebody that's training once a week with us, right, it's like $375 a month because they get other stuff too, but they go to 3 times. Well, you're bumping up like about $300 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do that with 7 people, and that's $2,100 a month.
It's huge. Yeah.
Extra, right? So, and the thing is, all you did is you didn't even get new leads, right? It was just, and you're being ethical because you're like, man, if this person could only, if I could see them 3 times a week instead of 1 time, that's 3 times more accountability. That's 3 times I can course correct them and get in their head in a positive way, right? I can have more connection. It's going to be better for them, 100%.
I mean, I'll say this, Luka. I'll even double down for you, which is I'll say the non-ethical thing is to not do that. Right, is to see that your clients have the ability to get farther faster or reach their goals quicker or, learn more quickly, and to not offer them that experience, to not proactively coach them and challenge them to show up differently for themselves. That's why they hired us. I mean, that's literally what we're there for.
Because you're making an assumption, right? And this, or put it this way, or it's your own personal fear, or it's an assumption like, oh, they're not going to spend more. And, I always have, I'm sure you guys probably have a million examples like this. Like I have so many where
they can say no.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good time right now. Okay, great. Well, if you're ready, let me know.
Yeah. When do you want me to circle back? You think like maybe in a month? I'll ask you again, right? And then we'll just circle back, right? But the reality is that they hired us because if they could do this on their own, they would have. They hired us because they want the help, they want the support, they want the coaching. And if you've built a relationship based on trust and authenticity with each other, then you're going to find a really comfortable, authentic way to say like, hey, I know the summer's coming up. I know the wedding's coming up. I know that you really wanted to achieve this by the time you started a new job. And I think we probably get there faster if you just came 1 extra time per week. You want to try it? Right? It's not complicated.
It's not. It's actually so natural because, like the conversations I have with people, like, oh, like I start the week off, we have our strength session, and then on Wednesday I go, to small group, and I feel so much better. And you know what? When I do it, I eat better, this, that, the other.
Mm-hmm.
But then towards the end of the week, I don't show up for this. That, hey, why don't we add a semi-private session on Friday or Saturday morning?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because now that's going to keep you accountable. Like you can't go out on a Friday night, because you got training Saturday morning. Like these are real conversations, right? Like, and the thing is, it's more just having this frame and this understanding that if you zoomed out and go like, let me look at all my clients right now, how are they doing? Who would benefit by doing more training? The answer is almost always everybody, except if somebody's doing 4 or 5 days a week, then maybe not. But almost everybody. So ethically, you could go to all of them and say, hey, listen, like I really feel like let's bump this and create a catalyst for change right now. And I'll invite you to start coaching me more. I really, really believe that this is going to help you bump your results, okay, and create some more habits faster. So, sometimes the results are so wild, because I think people need to wrap it around their head and like, all right, I'm going to go try this, and then you come back and it's like, holy shit, like there's no campaign I could have done that would have brought me, more revenue in than that did.
That's it. That's it. I'll even say just historically at Mark Fisher Fitness, we haven't sold a lot of like packs or like one-off sessions. Almost everyone is memberships with a set number of visits per week, month, whatever. And just to show how much I think this can work is our way of doing what you're talking about here once in a while is once or twice a year, we will invite everyone to work out more by selling some packs to existing members.
Yes.
Existing members can add on extra sessions at a cheaper rate than what they're currently probably buying them at. And those are always huge wins for us. When we collectively say, hey, everyone, summer's coming. We're going to sell some 5-packs at a cheap rate. Everyone get some more workouts in so you can get ready for, feeling more confident over the summer. It's always gangbusters. It's always huge for us. And we're doing that at a large scale. So I think, I want to just invite our listeners. You can do this one-on-one, and ask individual people to show up like we're talking about. I think that's hugely useful. You can also do this at scale. You can also do this en masse to say like, hey, We want everyone to work out a little bit more. Let's push ourselves. Let's do a challenge for February. You can buy this 5-pack and come an extra 5 times this month. Either way, I think this is a really winning strategy, Luka.
Huge winning strategy. And it's like, it's great for cash flow. Right? Because if you're like, hey, we need cash flow right now, like that's one of the best strategies right there by selling packs. And what's so cool about it is that once people start coaching more, it's really difficult to go down. Right? You have somebody that went from 1 to like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Man, it's difficult because they love seeing you more. They love the results. They love that they have more coaching accountability.
And they're probably seeing more results.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's the thing that they're gonna like be most in love with. It's like, oh, when I come more, I can see more difference in how I feel or look or move. That's huge.
And so, again, this is, I love that we kind of took it there because talking about that whole like, if you're somebody that's listening to this and what I said resonated with you and kind of punched in your gut a little bit, and like, hey, if I could only make $2,000 to $3,000 more now, no problem paying rent, this, that, the other. Actually, I'd have $1,000 left over or more. Okay, it's like double down, triple, quadruple down on just getting that amount of clients that is going to get you there, because then guess what? You feel we don't do that well. Under crazy pressure, meaning we don't make our best decisions like that, right? In scarcity, we don't make our best decisions. So when you feel a little more confident with where you're at, you start making better decisions. Like, I'm going to invest in myself. You know what? I am going to put a couple $100 a month aside for some video edits, this, that. I mean, for running some ads, we could go down a list of things, right? But it's like, what's the low-hanging fruit? What can you do fast and be effective with it? And some of these strategies that we just shared, like, are the ones that you can really, really just, you could do them tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
you can
100%.
plug and play them tomorrow.
I think your whole point here is that when you have a goal like that, if I just had an extra 5, 10, 12 clients, it's the editing that gets in people's way. What I mean by that is that stop doing stuff so you have more time to do that one most important thing, right? Literally, just pause, just clear your plate, clear your calendar, clear your day, right? Get rid of anything that's superfluous so that you can just focus on that singular goal. With some of these strategies Luka gave you, you could be there in a few weeks. You could be there in a week if you really double down. Yeah,
some things can be so fast if you just take away the clutter. And I was just in Scottsdale, speaking at an event, talking about this kind of this premise and principle, right? Like the watch and the wallet. And I may have mentioned it here before. I'm not sure, but it's something that like I got to keep bringing up. I got to keep bringing up for myself, right? The watch and the wallet is basically like where does your time go and where does your money go, right? And what people are truly committed to is shown by where their time, their schedule, their calendar is going, and where is their money from their account going, right? Because the amount of times I hear is like, no, like I really want to, grow my business and I want to improve the experience for my clients, right? And it's like, okay, let me look. If I look at your schedule for the week, and you don't have a blocked out time, for instance, to create content, but you said that you want to create more content and give more value to the marketplace locally. You want to build more local relationship with businesses, but I don't see meetings scheduled, right? Like I said, you want to market, you want to do the brick and mortar marketing, guerrilla marketing we talked about right now, but it's not in your schedule. You're not committed to it. I'll get to it when I'm done with the clients and okay, great. You got to coach clients. Absolutely. 100%. The rest of the time, you got to look at your calendar and you got to go like, where's my time going? And you got to keep doing that over and over again. Cause most people are not great at that. And when you don't have a path and a plan, the default's going to be struggle. So you got to look at your watch and what you're committed to. And then the wallet is, again, the amount of times that I'll be like, hey, listen, this post is doing well organically. I really think like you got some leads from it. All right, put some money behind it. It's working. It's working because organically it's been proven to you. Run it in your local area. You don't even have to complicate it and build landing pages sometimes and all these different things. Like we'll literally get organic posts that our clients will put up. And they do well. I'm like, okay, put it on a business page, put it on IG, boost it, boom, more clients, right? And it's like, put $200 behind it. I don't have the money, right?
Yeah.
But then it's again. No, go ahead.
I was just going to also say that you mentioned something earlier, I think is a great place to put your wallet as well, which is I hired someone to help me. I hired someone to teach me. I hired a mentor who's already done it, right? That's also a place where you can throw down the money and it really helps
I would
expedite your
almost
growth
say,
and learning.
yeah, I would almost say that's the first one, because,
Yeah.
again, this is because I just put up an IG post about this, right? Like, where, look at your bank account, and not necessarily for how much is in there. That's not the premise of what we're talking about, but it's like, but where are things going? If you had mint.com, most people don't want to install things like that, right? Because then it's like, oh, holy shit, like I went out, I had drinks 3 times this week with friends, but it was $50 every time. Well, that's $150 per week. That's $600 a month, right? For that, you could have, hell, like you have somebody running ads. You could invest in a mentor that's legitimately like been there, done that, is doing it, and can help you, double, triple your business if you're in your starting phases, maybe, right? And it's like the number one investment is always yourself, because you are the asset. For me, that's always been the principle. Invest in myself first. Number 2, invest in your team and your business, right? And then 3, then it's like, okay, real estate, blah, 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 right? I don't think there's, it's dumb to invest in other things. But here's, if you believe that you're the most valuable thing and the business is what you want to grow, why, because I see this all the time. Oh, I put money in this stock in the AMC and it's going to go. And I'm like, but you're not putting it in yourself and your team?
Yeah.
How, like, you're believing that some other business you don't know the managers, you don't know anything about them, is more valuable than yourself and the people around you? That's mind-blowing to me, right? Like, so that's the wallet philosophy, right? Because I wanted to kind of zoom out and go like, hey, no, like, here's where you're investing your money, right? And it goes to health and fitness too, right? You get a coach. Where are you investing your money? I really want to get healthy. I'm like, oh, like, man, there's a whole lot of, Lululemon buys, but them Lululemons ain't getting used.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%. Well, and this idea scales with you over your lifetime, right? Well, I say when you're just starting off growing your business, this premise of like, hey, when I'm stuck or not hitting my goals or not sure of my next step, the question is, okay, well, where is my time and my money going? Is a great question. It's also true when you've been at the game for 10, 20, 30 years, and ask yourself, hey, if the business isn't growing anymore, or I'm feeling stuck, we're not hitting our goals, cool. I can also ask myself now, 10, 20 years into being a professional, where's my money and my time going? And I'll say that, just as an example, Mark and I, if we added up how much we spend on investing in ourselves and our team every year, it's a big number, y'all. And that's not meant to be like a brag. It's meant to be like,
no.
Sometimes I am shocked at how willing we are to invest in ourselves. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars easily each every year on coaches, courses, books, experiences that help improve our game. And to your point, Luka, our schedules are optimized as much as, not always the best. We do our best, right? To spend time on the things that matter most, right? So this idea of, of the wallet and watch, I think is huge for our listeners in helping them give them a framework for understanding how do I focus my time and energy. And it's like, cool. You do it by asking yourself these questions.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I still, most of the time, I don't even want to bring it up, because it's like, if I bring it up, it's actually probably hard for most people to believe the amount of money that I've invested in myself, in the business, and learning, because it's like these pretty absurd numbers. But again, it's always paid off, right? And I'm glad that you brought it up, because it is important for people to see that if somebody is like ahead of you, maybe in some way, and it's like, oh, I want to be there. Notice this thread that goes across, and I was just speaking in Scottsdale and catching up with some friends I haven't seen for a long time that have done amazing things. And the difference sometimes is that just like, oh yeah, I hired this mentor, and the numbers are like, multiple 6 figures per year for a mentor, right? And I'm like, damn. But guess what? The principle is the same, right? They're still investing, they're still growing. They're still the number one asset. And I think that mentality hopefully sticks with everybody.
I agree.
There's a couple of things that I know. I mean, you know that we can keep going. But there's
Yeah.
there's
Well,
two
I'll
things
I'll
that
say
I
this.
wanted
I'll
to-
do a time check for us. Now we probably have time for maybe like one more topic. So let's use this one as
All
our,
right.
as our last hurrah.
I'm gonna, you're asking me for one more. I'm gonna. I'm gonna
You wanna
give a
give
quick
me
strategy.
three?
Here's the deal. I'm gonna give a quick strategy and then
Okay.
and then a principle. So
Great.
because this is something people can go do right now. Okay, so 3 years ago, like kind of before the pandemic started, I had this idea, and I sat down with the Chamber of Commerce to talk about it. They're like, this is a great idea, and pretty much it was a small business transformation challenge. And what it would be for us, it would be more large group training because we can service that. Like, you got to understand when people say like, oh, we'll get you 100 new clients. Most people can't handle 30 new ones, right? So you got to understand what you're capable of delivering. But with our larger group training, we can obviously service more people and not have too much of an issue with that. So that was my idea, is like any small business in Renton can apply to bring in their team, their employees. For 30 days, they get access to our team training for free, right? It's our way of giving back to small business. We're a small business. We understand how challenging it is. Even at that point in time, health was the worst it's been. I had all these statistics of how it affects the workplace. And they were just like, oh, this is a great idea. And, I'd do a kickoff nutrition seminar. We'd do in-bodies. So we'd have every team weigh in and everything else. I mean, we'd be highly, our points would be highly leaning towards habits and coming in and tracking that. But the main thing would be at the end of 30 days, we have like these obviously these businesses that compete against each other. And whoever wins would get like 3 to 4 months of corporate training with us for free, which is
amazing.
Great. Now, that fell through that got put on pause, obviously, with COVID. They reached out to me last week or 10 days ago, and we had a meeting and said, hey, like we have businesses reaching out to us looking for health solutions. We loved your idea. What do you think? I'm like, obviously, I'm in. Now, I asked them, I said, how many, this is Renton, this is not Seattle, right? So I said, how many businesses are part of the Chamber of Commerce? And there's less because a lot of businesses shut down, but there's still about 700. And then there's a couple thousand, if not more, that aren't part of the Chamber of Commerce, okay? They said they'll email out to see how many people would be interested in doing this, okay? They're doing the work for you, by the way, okay? And so they're going to do this week. But let me just give you a frame of how big this can be, okay? 700 businesses. If 5% said yes, could be a lot more, but I don't like to be the guy that's like, half of them will say yes.
Sure.
That's 35 businesses. And if they averaged 5 employees, right, you're looking at almost 200 people in a challenge. I mean, we can probably handle that in our large group training, but more than that, we couldn't. I think that's kind of like the peak, right?
Yep.
And the problem that we may run into is that we'll have to do multiple challenges because there's so many people that want them, right? Good problems. I'd rather hustle my face off.
Yep.
But my premise and my point is, guys, this is what people want right now. In your area, everybody has a Chamber of Commerce. And the thing is, even if the chamber didn't cooperate, like I'd build a landing page, put up a video, and promote, because even just through your business, you have small business owners, you have people that know people. Organically, there's people following you. Like you got hundreds of small business owners that follow your stuff, right?
Yep.
You have them on your email list and everything, right? So
and
don't
every one of your clients works somewhere, most likely, and they have family members who work somewhere. So even through your existing network,
Absolutely.
know a lot of other businesses in your area. Yeah,
it's like 80% of America is employed by small business. So
Yep.
chances are, right, that it's connected. So it doesn't don't think like, well, I'm not part of Chamber of Commerce, they're not as interested. But if you go there and you bring this up, trust me, their goal is to help businesses in your area. Okay. And businesses are reaching out because health has been the worst. Mental health has been the worst. This is what they're also telling me. Right. And in one fall swoop, you could legitimately sign up 100 people, 50 people, 30 people, right? Because at the end of those 30 days, guess what? Some companies will say, man, this is awesome. What if we do a corporate? Okay, great. For your 15 employees, instead of being full price, we'll give you this package for the year.
Yep.
Right? So this is one of those things is like, if you're listening to this and you do it, it could change your business. You don't have to listen to me. I could absolutely not know what I'm doing, but roll the dice. Roll the dice.
And if you're going to roll a dice, I mean, this is a great one too, because it's, not a huge amount of your upfront investment. You're partnering with and leveraging a relationship from someone who's, the Chamber of Commerce is their job is to network in your community. That's all they do, right? So leveraging a relationship like that is amazing. And I think this also is a game changer because most of the time in our businesses, we're going after a single lead at a time. We're getting through from a single person who opts into our social media or our landing pages, etc. And what you're doing with this strategy is you're going after whole businesses at a time, which, to Luka's point, is on average maybe 5-10 employees, and so for small businesses. So you're instantly, scaling up that outreach, tenfold in some cases, just by leveraging a partnership like this. I think it's brilliant.
It's a big idea, but like here's the other thing too, Michael. Like, let's say that 90% of people didn't join, okay? But those 90% of people would have a lot of value added. They would have experienced the community, right? They would have had a great experience. I mean, even if they, felt a little better, lost some a pant size, dropped some weight, the energy levels were up. Guess what their experience is going to be around your business? It's going to be extremely positive. So if 30 days later, 60 days later, and let's not talk about follow-up, right? They're like, you know what? Like, I had so much support. It was so great. And now I'm kind of falling off. They're going to come back to your business, not some other business, right?
100%.
And so you're planting the seed for something down the line. And so I think this is one of those things where, again, I sometimes get, what would be the word? But my job as a coach, obviously, is like to help people succeed, whether it's in fitness or in business. But it's like, I'm like, please prove me wrong. Please do this, and the people that do are, will get exponential results. And so with that said, I thought about, what should I kind of close off on, because I think this is important. And I can't remember where I heard it, because I was going to, let's go into content. I think content support and so on and so forth. But I'd rather share principles. And it may have been one of the people I was speaking with on stage with in Scottsdale was Alex Hormozy. He was a very, very, very genius guy. And I think it was him that said it. But this really resonated, and it was that most people do the right thing. They just don't do anywhere close to enough of it, right? And I'll give you an example, okay? We literally just talked about like referrals and the kind of like, guerrilla marketing stuff, right? People do it, but they don't, like, they should do it 10 times more, right? You ask for referrals? Yes. If you did it 10 times more, and what's crazy is that your results would actually be exponential.
Yeah.
You might not get 10 times the results. You may get 30 times the results.
Those things compound,
right? It happened with me for social media. We kind of, you mentioned this, and Grant Cardone was an example, but he was saying like, hey, how do you get this crazy social media engagement? It's like, well, you're posting once a week. I'm posting 5 times a day, right? But my results are not, 10 times your results. My results are 100 times your results, right? So again, you look at the things that you're doing, and that are the right things. You're not doing the wrong things, but you just have to do a lot more of them, 5 times more, 7 times more, 10 times more. And you might go like, oh, Luka, but look, most of these things are not like difficult things to do. They're just organization, systems. Again, you're watching your wallet, right? And oh my God, it's so hard to post. Is it? It's not. You just got to get in a routine. You can batch content. Right? Like,
I'll also say this, Luke, I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier, which is in order to do one of those things 10 times more, you need to pick less things to do. Right?
Yes.
You have to edit out and not try and, level 10x everything you're doing. Pick the ones that you think you will maybe enjoy doing, that you think will have the biggest impact, right?
Yes.
And then 10x those things, and you'll see exponential change.
Correct. Because it's like even things like this, right? This is the one actually, and we're working on this in our business too. This is always a work in progress. I think for everybody, but it's follow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow up?
It's a perfect
of course
example.
we follow up.
Yep.
You need to follow up 10 times more, right? And you want to get an extra 5 clients this month? Just follow up, with everybody in the last 6 months. Make them an offer, like an outrageous offer that it'd be crazy not to take. Just get them through the doors, because then your coaching and your experience and your culture is going to do the job, right? But again, you're doing it, but you just need to do it a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. And like Micah says, like cutting it down. Hey, here's these 3 things that are already working. You're doing them. Okay, cool. Like do them a lot more and cut this other shit out for right now. Yeah. Right. You'll bring it back in once everything is more streamlined. But this is what's going to get you the best results right now in the short term.
Yeah. I think it's a great place to leave it, Luka, for all our listeners. I mean, there's so many brilliant takeaways in this conversation, as always with you, Luka. But I think leaving it with that idea of like, just do less, but better. do less stuff, but more of each, especially when it comes to all the strategies that Luka's mentioning here, from asking for referrals to engaging with partnerships, in your community. And there's so many great strategies and takeaways from this conversation. So friends, go back and re-listen again. Make sure you're taking good notes. Then pick a few and double down. Do more of them. Do more of it, but less overall. Yeah, I think do less but better. Yeah, I think that's really smart. Well, thank you so much for this, Luka. I think I'm sure we're going to have you back again. So listeners, shoot me an email. Let me know what you want to have Luka back to talk about. Just michael@businessforunicorns.com. I would love to hear from you and say, what topics do you want to hear from Luka's brilliant brain on? But thank you for doing this, my friend. For those of people who are just getting to know you now, how can they go find more about you and your work and your business? Where should they look online?
For the gym site, which I mentioned earlier, that you guys can check out, it's vigorgroundfitness.com. I'm extremely active on social media on Instagram. It's at Luka Hocevar, so LukaHocevar. And one of the things too is like pretty much anything video that I do goes on YouTube, and YouTube's actually been a thing that I've been growing and pushing. And same thing, if you just go onto YouTube and search Luka Hocevar, my page will pop up. And then for our business coaching, it's a very simple name, Yo Grow Your Gym. It tells you exactly what we do. We help coaches grow their business and grow their gym. And you can go to yogrowyourgym.com/results and find out more about that as well. But most of the stuff that, like everything that kind of spreads out, usually goes on social media, and I talk about it there.
Yeah. Well, friends, go follow Luka in all of those places. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Thanks again for doing this, my friend. And until next time, and have a great week.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to be back, my friend.
Well, I hope you loved today's podcast. And forgive me, I want to remind you one more time, if you haven't already done so, head over to businessforunicorns.com, click the button, and get your free self-assessment, the ultimate training gym owner report card. I promise you, you're going to want to dig into this resource and get the support you need, finding crystal clarity on exactly where you need to be focusing to create a life and a business you love.